What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I am feeling 110%. We are full fake on that. I'm still very sick. You're going to hear some as we go through this game. I'm sorry if that's going to set you off. I'm also moving at the speed of light, so let me fix that up right there. We are watching Mythic Wars, as you can see right up in that corner, just over there. It says Mythic Wars. If you can't read that, I don't really know. I can't really help you out with anything else. But yes, we've got in the top of the map, we've got El Matador the Great, El Matador the Wise, affectionately known as Matty. And he's playing some Odin for us in this game one. His opponent today in the red color, coming in with the set. His name is Ulysses. The map is Marsh. Exactly. So this is where dreams are made. This is where legends are born. And this is where dreams are crushed. Ulysses, a very, very long-standing competitor in the tournament scene for Age Mythology. Has had a lot of good showings. Not exactly sure if he's had any super amazing runs thus far in Retold. I mean, realistically, there's the three big players who are getting to the top three of every tournament so far in Mr. Magic and Recon. So he doesn't have to get through them today, but unfortunately for him, he is facing up and against another player starting with the letter M, which will mean troubles are afoot. But we'll see if he can overcome the curse of the M. I know Recon doesn't have an M, but he's basically Mekon at this point because he's got that many deep tournament runs under his belt at this point. But nonetheless, Ulysses, we'll see how he's going to go here. Matador here, he does, unfortunately for him, find himself in a bit of a difficult matchup. Not only has he found himself in a bit of a difficult matchup, I also think he's made some pretty heavy mistakes in this early game already. Let me just touch on mistake number one. Well, he picked Odin when your opponent's got set. Just don't. I'm just kidding. I do think that of all the gods out there, Set is probably one of the best against Odin. Odin's got a tough time against Set because of the Spearman. Spearman's very, very strong. Moves at 5.3 speed or 5.25 speed. Very, very cheap as well with that monument reduction. Thank you for the raiding party deities of death. The Dodd boys, the Dodd brethren, the lovers of all things Dodd. But yes, the big mistake that he's made actually in this early game, however, is he actually has Hunt at the front of his base. This is the hunt you want to eat straight away. Now, I could be wrong on this, in that he thinks he can drag it into his base and eat it in here underneath his town center. Unfortunately for Matador, the best he's going to be able to drag these hippos into is going to be about here. So I would rather, if I was the Odin player and I was thinking, shit, I'm playing against, excuse me, my Australian's coming out. I'm playing against Set here. I'm going to need to turtle. I've already got a forward gold mine. Let me try and make life easy for myself. Let me eat all these hippos. Let me bash these deer nice and close to my town center. And when I hit the heroic, the classical age, let me great hunt. And then I've got all this hunt underneath my main base. And I can think about building this sort of defensive thing, utilizing my temple to this river here, blocking off this position over here, and then all of a sudden, no real problems to have to deal with. My opponent wants to come in to destroy me with some new bites like Ulysses wants to here. I'm going to have some Valkyrie to deal with that. But that's not what Matador's done. We'll see if he's going to be able to make it work in the opposite thing by dragging these hippopotamus underneath his main base. You can, I believe, great hunt a hippopotamus, and it gives you only, I think it gives you like 500 food a hippopotamus or something like that. So you want to get 2 of them. So if you drag 2 of them nice and close and great hunt them here, then you can drag those 2 underneath the town center as well. So it does kind of work. It does kind of work. Nonetheless, Hippopotamus getting hippopotamused over here as the Set priest walks forward and drops a terrifying relic into the temple. Not only does Set get a 10% reduction in his production, but also he is now finding himself an extra 5% eco on wood and gold. That's a big deal. He's also grabbing this next relic here, which is the Scales of Acatopoulos. Not the most big of deal thing there, as the Valkyrie is after the Anubite here. This is a big pick. If Matador can actually get it here, it will be really, really good. Unfortunately for Matador, he does not manage to snipe that one, as the Anubite is going to be waiting back here and will get healed back up by a priest at some point, most likely. Another Anubite to come out, and the Spearman, Axeman, Slinger shenanigans have started for Ulysses. As the Valkyrie coming through, and Ulysses has to respect Forest Fire, has to respect the Valkyrie, retreats back, jumps onto a straggler tree. I like this idea. Time and time again, I'm finding that I'm losing villagers to Forest Fires, so if you notice the Valkyrie coming in, you just run away. Just run away. It's better than losing a villager. I'm so sorry for my snottiness. But that's just the way it's going to have to be. Anyways, other relics on the map, not getting picked up just yet. We do have the Dar's Scepter over here, and on the left-hand corner, that's going to be making your farms a bit cheaper. No relic over here, and there is one here. Oseberg Wagon, a nice one for the late game if we ever go there. Now, the other way to sort of deal with the Nubites is to actually get, well, 2 Valkyries or a raiding cavalry and a Valkyrie. Thank you for the 5 months begins. Appreciate you, my friend. You are these ones. So the the Anubites come through, and the idea is that you're going to be getting your Valkyrie to poke and get the damage, and you're going to run along the side with your raiding cavalry to ensure that the snare stays in there so you can actually do everything. As we do have the villagers getting pushed back. Matador taking a lot of damage. Is he going to lose a villager? No. Forest Fire gets dropped down, however, and that's 1 villager, 2 villager, 3 villager kills there. That's absolute value for Matador. He gets in while the Guardian Anubai Micro was distracting Ulysses. Great timing there. Comes through trying to snipe down these Gazelle to have them start dropping their food, and also out of position there. Not ideal for Ulysses. A great start now for Matador thus far. Got a question from Mytholution. Do I have a build order for ISIS on YouTube? I actually do. I do, yeah. Go check it out. It is a Rappel-inspired build order. Incredibly tough. Not practical in the slightest, but very, very fun. And you can adapt it to your own stuff. You don't have to be as sweaty as I showed that you can be in that one. But yeah, it's a good one, for sure. But this isn't ISIS in this game. So I don't know why you thought you could just bring up ISIS in a game without ISIS, but I'm going to respect it, all right? As the raiding cavalry to come back through, a villager looking very much like it could get sniped. Ulysses not paying attention to this raid in the slightest. The villager over here going to be retreating back. Matador does not spot that one, unfortunately for him, as the villagers manage to get back, denying the houses for a little bit, as now the army to start moving forward here. Matador might just need to get back here and defend. So Ulysses pushing in hard. There is a really, really nice position here to attack on these villages here. The gold mine's about to expire. If he can get through over here and make Matador's life really, really tricky here, it can just be all over for him in this moment. As the raiding cavalry sitting on this position here, he's got to just snipe units, prevent the reinforcements. We see the Plague of Serpents getting dropped down here. It's a great little choke point for Matador at the moment. Ulysses is going to be retreating back. The raiding cavalry pulling in onto this position. Valkyrie getting targeted down by those priests here as the raiding cavalry to come through, throw an axeman, getting some big damage done onto those axemen here. But it's looking like Ulysses' population is standing pretty solid. But so too is Matador's. As the slingers going down on the front will allow those thrown axemen through. The Plague of Serpents gets defeated. And Matador survives here. Not only does he survive, but now he is in the driver's seat. The most important thing to do here now for Matador is to not overcommit. This is where things can go pretty south. The production speed of Set is faster than the Odin. So you've got to be careful. He still has an advantage for the moment here. But the longer this goes on without any real kills, the stronger Ulysses' army gets comparably to Matador. Matador had a great choke point, a great fight, great block off of reinforcements. Even picks off all these animals that he can eat on the front as well. As Matador now over onto the Crown Crane, he's moved over onto this gold mine, which is a bit interesting. He did have this one here, which he could have just walled off and defended, but nonetheless, he's now got himself 60 favor, 1 Valkyrie to come through. A whole bunch of Valkyries here could be absolutely devastating for Ulysses to deal with. Now, Ulysses has got 3 priests. Great. 3 priests isn't enough to deal with 4 Valkyrie. It's just not. But Matador has to get that food in to get them out. And also, he's probably going to be wanting Shield Maiden Valkyrie. So one thing he could do is come over and start bashing down these water buffalo, get himself just that little bit more favor to make those Valkyrie even stronger. As Ulysses breaks through the front here, going through the armory. How much does he have? He's got himself copper armor coming through. Onto this right side, the Anubites, they're checking the gold mine, but the villagers on the Crown Crane are here. This is a fairly hefty amount of damage to be suffering here. As Ulysses gets 1 villager kill over onto this side as well. Villagers on this position, not going to be easy to defend. He wants to eat all that hunt if he can. He does spot this 1 Anubite in onto this position, going to be taking that one out. As all these Valkyrie are in, but he doesn't have that Shield Maiden Valkyrie upgrade. I want that upgrade in yesterday. He's got the favor now. He needs time, though, as he's going to be engaging on to the right-hand corner here. Those medium spearmen are in for Ulysses. They are blocking off those raiding cavalry beautifully. The throw and axe will come in onto the left side where the slingers were, but Ulysses isn't happy with the engagement. He turns. No priest. There's 1 priest left to deal with all of these Valkyrie. It's just not going to be enough. As the throw and axeman getting taken, not the throw and axeman, the spearman getting taken out beautifully here. Matador putting on an absolute clinic of Odin in this first game. Is Matador to retreat back? And where to next? Now, you guys can look at this and go, hey, Matador's won 2 fights so far. How is he not miles in front? Well, he hasn't really won any fights just yet. It's been like tiny victories. To put it into perspective, look at the difference here. The villagers, there's more villagers for Ulysses. Ulysses has got a similar amount of military units out. The differential in military value is heavily in favor of Matador by about 1,000 resources, but Matador's units are a little bit more expensive than Ulysses. So he hasn't really found a significant advantage yet. There's nothing that he's done just yet that is going to give him a victory in this game, and these Anubites are on a mission. This is really, really dangerous for Ulysses, given the fact that there's all of these Valkyrie raiding cavalry in. And look at this from Matador. He is splitting his units beautifully, trying to prevent the jumpaways here, as he does manage to catch 1 Anubite on the back, not quite able to take it out. There's so many priests in now, however, and this changes the dynamic a lot. Heroic Age now clicked up for Ulysses as well behind all of this. Matador needs to take a fight, and now this is the perfect opportunity for Matador to make something happen. He's waiting on Dizablot here. Shield Maiden Valkyrie. These things hit hard. There's also a hero Godian with the upgrade. He's got actually a little bit of HP as well as being able to grab that one early on. As the throw and axeman poking a little bit here. It's so hard to like know that your opponent has sort of quote unquote cheesed out a heroic age here if you are Matador. You look at that army blob and you go, that's pretty big. But it's not. Your army blob is actually significantly bigger. It's like 2K bigger here. And now Matador realizes he goes in for the kill, surrounding with the raiding cavalry onto the back line here. Those priests need to get onto the Valkyries, now starting to take them down slowly here as we see another Plague of Serpents to get dropped down. The slingers getting cleaned up on the front. Ulysses makes a drastic overestimation of his forces here. His army gets cleaned up. He hits the heroic age, drops an Ancestors onto the back, but does this matter when there's this many units? Answer is a resounding no. However, the army to continue coming through for Ulysses. He tries to send in the animals with the Scorpion and everything else, but it's just not going to be enough. Throwing up a Migdol stronghold over here is incredibly bold, but Matador doesn't see it just yet, and Ulysses drags Matador away from this position beautifully. One raiding cavalry down. So throw an Axeman in on the front, sniping everything up. Guardian Rhubarb over here goes down. More units falling over here. Matador hasn't really found himself a tangible advantage just yet. I talk about this all the time, a tangible advantage. He doesn't have a second town center. He's in the classical age. All he's got right now is a ridiculous military population advantage, so he needs to convert this somehow. And he's doing a great job sniping units here. Doing a great job. Matador now turning around. He can come over and snipe down the Migdol stronghold. There's not enough units here to defend this. Still doesn't know that it exists, but he is seeing a siege works getting popped up over here. Matador could also go, hey, you're building camel riders. Let me get some Goaty out. As the camel riders going down. Matador turns, gets more damage done onto this one. But he has to retreat back in this moment now. He's got so many resources. He wants to go to the heroic age most likely here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for Njord here. However, he does have a hefty amount of throw on Axeman, so he can quickly just get himself that Huntress Axe if he goes for Skadi. It can be really, really strong. Nonetheless, it is going to be Njord. Njord makes a lot of sense because you get immediate siege with the Mountain Giant, plus the Walking Woods, take down these buildings really quickly. And then also Jarls. Jarls are really, really good in this sort of a situation as well. Not that you can't build Jarls already, but super Jarls. Super duper Jarls. Basically, there's no answer for super duper Jarls until Horus comes through for the set. But Matador is just going to wait it out for the time being. Get some damage done. Wait for his god power. A couple of priests getting built out. Nice micro there from Matador to pull back those Valkyrie away from the priests. Just distracting for the time being. Ulysses now says, time for a town center. As the Raven comes through, spots that that's happening. This Raven is on patrol, no? Is it? You patrolling? Yep. Nice little patrol there with the Raven. I like that. I like that little idea from Matador. As now Njord is in. Heavy infantry. Vikings actually coming through. He does have a hefty amount of raiding cavalry, so why go straight onto the Ringgiver Jarls when you can just get Vikings, and that's completely fine. With Ulysses, you can never count him out. Never, as I always say, never count a Norse player out for throwing the game. They can never underestimate a Norse player's ability to throw a game. That's the saying. We'll see if Ulysses can make it happen. He does have some really strong slingers to deal with those throwing axemen, but those raiding cavalry are now hitting crazily, and Ulysses in that moment does tap out. GG. Well played by Matador. That was a ridiculously solidly well played game by Matador. You can see how hard he has to work to stay alive here, but the angle for victory is there. I loved the raiding cavalry sort of split off from the army. He gets around, he gets into Ulysses' base, he's raiding, he comes back, he cuts the reinforcements off, and then collapses in onto that army. And that's why he's able to win this so well. It's because he's building units in his main base. Ulysses is also building units, but he can't get them to the fight. And Matador is able to clean that fight up, and that's just step one. Then step two comes in, which is get yourself the Valkyrie out. And he does that. Ulysses doesn't really read it. You kind of need, I would say, to deal with, say, 4 Valkyrie, you probably need somewhere between like 8 and 12 priests. It's not like a bad unit to build in the sliders because it can heal up. It's like basically economy. But nonetheless, you need a lot of priests to deal with that amount of Valkyrie. And he just didn't have it. He had some Anubites, but Anubite versus Valkyrie, the Valkyrie will come out ahead there most of the time. And then it was just building on advantage. And the nail in the coffin here was Ulysses going heroic age, but still trying to play as if he was staying in the classical age. Like, I liked the idea of it because it was like, ooh, if he's sitting in the middle, probably means he's not going to the heroic age. It means I don't want to engage, or I got a little bit more time as the Odin player. But in reality, he was going heroic age and he didn't have any backup plan to like run away if Matador wanted to attack. And from there, Matador just got an overwhelming advantage and just managed to close the game out. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game. Oh my God, it's Mediterranean. It's game number 2. Everything is in the wrong place. Flip and fixed. In the right-hand corner of the map, we have Matador playing as Hades. On the left-hand corner of the map, in the red color, playing as Zeus, it is Ulysses the Great, the AOT maniac, the man, the myth, the legend. We got a Zeus versus Hades on Mediterranean, a throwback. Not to mention all the complaints that I've just been throwing at my own Twitch chat about this specific matchup on this specific map. But I don't want to get into it. So let's just enjoy what we're going to watch here. So, recently, Mediterranean has made its way back into the map pool. People have been playing on this one. People have been having some difficulties against certain god powers, namely Plague of Serpents. There's also other problems with Restoration being very strong here, and also lightning weapons being an incredible presence on this map. Forest Fire also having a chance to do ridiculous damage. So if you want to roll the dice, you could potentially win a game just off of that at the very early stages, thanks to the fact that you have to have so many villages on wood. So yeah, there's a lot of spice, to say the very least, on this map. Nonetheless, we will see exactly how this game is going to go. Now, in my experience, the Greeks have got the easiest build order on Mediterranean. For those of you wanting to get better at this map, it's very, very simple. You send your first 3 villagers over to wood. You throw 1 villager over to build a dock. Send that over to wood as well. So you got 4 there. Then you're going to put 4 villagers onto food. And then you're going to put yourself 3 villagers onto gold. If you've got a straggler tree nice and close, try and link up your storehouse to be nice and close to that. Because once you get your temple started, you're going to want to take the villagers off of gold and put them over onto wood. If you do that, you can get yourself a 4-minute, 15-second advance time with a significant amount of fishing ships. 9 fishing ships? Sorry. 415, 9 fishing ships with 3 docks, basically. Maybe 2 docks. 2 or 3 docks. Anyways, that's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, both of these players are going to be doing something a little bit different. Matador does have access to Vault of Erebus, which is obviously a very, very powerful upgrade to give yourself a big boost, but it does come at the cost of a lot of resources early on. It takes itself a few minutes to actually pay itself off. So you got to keep that in the back of your mind. But it's definitely worth grabbing. And we also see something very odd on this Mediterranean map. I've never seen this before. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. 12 fish per person on this map. Very, very strange indeed. Normally we see something like 15, 18 fish per player to some degree. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's always 12. Ah, no, it's... Is it missing the like 1 fish spawn? Am I going crazy? I think I'm going crazy. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know anything about this map. Anyways, let's have a look. We got ourselves hand axe coming through for Matador. Over here we got hand axe coming through for Ulysses. We got Athena coming through for both players. Slightly faster for Ulysses in this one. Something tells me that in this sort of a mirror matchup, the slightly slower advance time seems just a little bit better, especially if you're playing as Hades and you've got the extra range on your docks, because it means if your opponent goes in with a couple of siege ships, then you can actually defend against that. As now we've got a Juggernaut coming out immediately, 2 Juggernauts coming out immediately for Ulysses, and Matador already kind of knows, and he goes, all right, straight in onto Pentacontis. He's got 3 docks to Ulysses' 3 docks as well, but a little bit more resources to pump these out as he sees the Juggernauts, and he is going to be ready to go. So this is the clash of styles here that I've been seeing from certain players, and basically it seems to me that one of the stock standard openings is going to be heavy on Pentacontas, heavy on hammer ships to open up with from certain players, whereas other players are preferring the Juggernaut Pentaconta route. And now we are going to be seeing some triremes to come through to try and deal with this and all the other good stuff. Bernard Flood asks, quick question, do boats also have the triangle? Yes, so think about this as Pentaconta is a cavalry unit. This is your infantry unit. The trireme is an infantry unit. The Juggernaut is your archer, your range unit. Basically. My nose is itchy. All right, that's some high quality commentary we've got there. As, wow, Matador's still just pumping out these Pentacontas. They do lose to the archer ships here pretty badly. There's a bolt there going down onto the Minotaur as it wandered through over onto this base here. We do have the Ulysses Minotaur causing some problems. No resources for an Ajax just yet, as it looks like Ulysses might just be running away with this game already. Absolutely dominating the water. He's doing huge damage into the main base, picking villagers off. The Ajax is in, drops the scales of the Echidna there. There's a villager trapped in that forest line that does manage to keep the villager alive after all is said and done, but differential in villages, it's kind of close. It's kind of close, but after all is said and done, all of the Pentacontas die. And Ulysses manages to win the water for the time being. Behind this, he's getting more fishing ships. We see the Juggernaut coming out. But an incredibly well-played early game here for Ulysses, as is effectively what he's known for. Like, he's been so good at this map for the longest time. So good. As Volta Variabus to come through. And here's the advantage of Juggernaut, of Hades docks. 20 range on those docks. You can't even siege them. You need to get champion warships to actually take the Hades docks down. Now we are seeing a second town center already coming through for Ulysses. The Pentaconda coming through. Sniping everything down. And the Townsends are now coming through for Matador. So no real intention to take this water back for the time being. Unfortunately for Ulysses, I'm not actually sure he's able to take these docks out. I'm interested to see. Part of me just doesn't believe that he's going to. Okay, I think I'm wrong. It kind of looks like the docks are dying. One dock down. All the fishing ships getting cleaned up is very, very big here as well. Purse scene also on the way now for Ulysses as he realizes he's got a fairly hefty advantage. His Pentacontas are suffering a hefty amount of damage from the docks, but it looks like it's going to be enough. The docks have too much HP. They got 1600. Effective HP is 2286 and 16,000 in Pierce. That's a lot. And now we see a third town center for Ulysses. So looking remarkably similar to the strategy we used to see on Mediterranean in Legacy. Now, the big difference between Legacy and Retold, and why I'm surprised to actually see this, is, well, you've got so much more population to play with in Retold, which means on one town center, which means if you win the water and you get all these fishing ships, you can just fill that up with units and then go kill your opponent. If they're just going to sit back and boom, like Matador is, you can just walk through here and just say, you don't even have to kill the town. So you just go, that's my gold mine, that's my gold mine too, and we're all good. There's this villager over here taking a bit of a beating. Looks like he actually might go down here as well. Nice play there for Ulysses. As Matador has got his work cut out for him to bring himself back into this game. We just see the Achilles going for a bit of a raid in the main base. Is fast heroics still a thing now that everyone gets a free myth unit? We saw a little bit of fast heroics a while back, but I think the myth unit stuff has kind of died out. Just thanks to the trireme idea. Like you get heroic fleet, and then your trireme can take down all of the myth units pretty easily. Thank you for the 10 months, Convict. Appreciate you, my friend. And that's a dead Achilles. But it's Apollo coming through for Ulysses, and he is going to pump out. Oh, he's got some stray stables here. A couple archery ranges, military academies coming down over here as well. As I'm sure after all is said and done, Ulysses is going to just basically rush Mythic Age here, rush a big fat army, and maybe go for Underworld. The game plan for Matador at this point has to be, well, we try and survive, secure a gold mine or two, get walls up everywhere, build a big fat army, probably not go Apollo. You're not going to be getting any sort of underworld shenanigans. Maybe you need the Apollo to link up to wherever the Zeus player is going. And just try and hold on for the late game. Because Hades does beat Zeus in the late game. Maybe. I'm actually not sure. Maybe they don't. He does have Artemis. Artemis is kind of a big deal. As you see Matador going for a rare Toxote raid. Oh, Manticore is out though. And we got an armory. We got ourselves a granary coming in. Is there a fortress up? Yes, there is. Ulysses has forgotten himself that Salt Amphora technology for the time being. Hopefully not for too long, because it is a huge tech. I guess one other idea here for El Matador is just to underworld onto a pack of villagers and try and pick them all off. Cut off the retreat point and see what happens there. There's Jason trying to take down the Pegasus, but he spent a little bit too much time at the pub there. Finally gets the shot in. All right. Can Ulysses make this happen? Can Matador bring this one back? That's the big question. Fortress coming up on the top of the map here for Matador. We've got some portable, not portable rams, but Tropoli coming through to take down the walls. One thing that people forget about the old catapults is that they do have wall breaching passive, which means deals area damage against walls. As Matador says, excuse you, you are not allowed to be over here. As he charges in, trying to take down, trying to take down the Tropoli and everything else. Sniping a hoplite or two. But he's got no real defense here. He needs some siege to take down the fortress. It's going to be really tough to actually break through this big fat building. You actually see that the fortress, I know everyone likes to meme about like Age of Mythology buildings being weak, but there's 0 upgrades on this fortress and it 3 hits the Toxote with nothing garrisoned inside it. That's what it was looking like, 3 hitting a Toxote. So there are some things that it's actually quite solid against. Do these guys have upgrades as well? No. There's the underworld passage to go down. Toxote is getting some damage on to the front here as well. But after all is said and done, the Peltast are incredibly powerful here. And you basically need your own Peltast or cavalry, I guess, to deal with these. You can kind of go into hoplites with Athena. Athena hoplites are a good tank and can take out the Peltast as well. The Matador doesn't have those at the moment. But a nice little attack here from Matador. He's managed to get 3 Petropoli over here to actually take down the fortress. And while Ulysses is sort of winning on the... While Ulysses is actually winning on the army front here, taking units down, it looks like Matador's buying time here nicely. Can he finish off the fortress though? I don't think he's actually going to quite be able to manage that. As Ulysses holds on there nicely. Do Gastrofrides counterpelt? That's probably not. They do have more range, so you can space them, I guess, but they're so slow that I think the Peltast can catch up to them. But now it is like full population for both players. So, like realistically speaking here, Matador has held. The problem is he's going to be staring down a Mythic Age. And he has no resources in the bank right now. He is getting himself upgrades though. Ulysses has got himself the same ones already though. So there's no... He's just playing full catch up. And Ulysses breaks himself back here underneath his fortress. Now Matador has to somehow micro this. He's got some hoplites here to tank on the front, but he's got to get that archer line back here. This restoration does get dropped down. Going Hera just creates a lose condition. I don't know. When you're this far in front on economy, all you got to do is kill off the enemy army. And then just literally attack move. Maybe the argument is right, but I mean, I feel like the path to victory is simpler with Hera. But there is like a potential for you to lose the game if you royally screw up. Who knows? I don't know anything about this game. Alright. Heracles going down. I guess the other problem here is for... I mean, Ulysses, he's already got himself full bronze. The big problem for Ulysses is just dealing with the Hades archers. Very, very tricky. Because he's got Zeus archers, which just aren't as good. Though... Petropolis, 7.5 pierce damage per second. Not bad. They can take out the Peltas as a restoration coming down here. Oh, that's so unfortunate. He drops restoration just before the lightning storm comes down. Huge population drop here. Huge population drop. And he's going to be dropping his underworld passage over here as well, as El Matador going to be struggling to get his population back up quick enough. You can see he's spent all of his resources going heroic Mythic Age here as well through Hephaestus. I don't actually think he can afford to go Hephaestus here. He needs the resources to repopulate an army. He's going to be losing that fortified town center. Fortress to come up here for Ulysses as well. We are seeing some Pentacondas yet again coming out for Matador to go raiding. So that's just stuff that he can't afford to invest in right now. As now Ulysses can drop the fortress, put the town center over here, coming back through his underworld to put pressure over onto this position. He just has to claim the town center first and then rotate back over here. And at that stage, potentially, Matador can break through the town center and take it back for himself, but then Ulysses can break through this position and then move into the main base. Or he can just take the fight here if he wants. As Bellerophon is out, and Bellerophon is the killer of all things Greek army. As the hoplites all coming through for Ulysses. You have to also remember that 4.9 speed hoplites, they're basically cavalry units at this point. They're not, but they basically are cavalry units. As they charge through, they've even got a fairly hefty amount of pierce armor. Look at this. 31. Actually, no. He doesn't have Aegis shield for some reason. It's now the hoplites to come into the main base. More units coming through here to take out the town center. One Colossus is in. We do see the Plenty Vault on the very corner of the map here. Sort of falling off the flat earth. Who knew you could put a Plenty Vault on the side of the flat earth there. That's another restoration for Ulysses to come through. Same two for Matador, but he's got no units here. And now down 4 town centers to 1. 260 population to 130. There's really not a whole lot the Matador can do any longer. And Ulysses does manage to convert the advantage that he created way back at the start of the game by winning the water. We did see that Ulysses did lose all of his fishing ships here, but like, realistically, do we really care about the fish here? That's just more population for the fire here for Ulysses. But not really sure what happened early game. I think Matador just committed to this Pentacontra idea, and Ulysses just countered it. And that was as simple as it was. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll move into game number 3. Game 3. On the map Alfheim, we got 2 new gods. We got 2 of the same players because that's how these tournaments work. But in case you guys have for some reason forgotten who's playing this best of 5 series, shame on you if you have. It's probably somewhere in the stream title, YouTube, thumbnail, somewhere. You probably know. But it's Matador, and he's playing Fushi. And on the left-hand corner of the map, it's Ulysses playing as Poseidon. We've got ourselves a spicy one. A spicy one. God Neymar asked me thoughts on Uranus versus Odin matchup. Yeah, that's heavily Uranus favored. In fact, I can't really think of many matchups that aren't heavily Uranus favored. Uranus just OP. Anyways, back to this one. We've got this matchup here is fun because what you've got is you've got a Civ or a god which has a really, really, really good... Sorry, let me start again. What you've got here is you've got a Civ, which has got some really, really powerful archers. Incredible archers. The fire archer is great. The Chukonu, well, it's also great. Okay, both of them are good. So put that off to the side. Then you come over here and you got this other god called Poseidon. He likes horses. Poseidon's a horse guy. Horses, they're good against archers. So all of a sudden, you got this god who's saying, your archer's no good. However, you've also got, inside of this Chinese Civ, you've got this Chinese major god who's got access to this Chinese minor god called Qi Yao. And this minor god makes your counter cavalry units do good things. They do good things. So, my point here is you get yourself a really, really interesting matchup as one player is going to be going for Halberdiers, one player is going to be going for Hippias. And then in order to kill the Halberdiers, you're going to be going in for Toxotes, right? So then, following that, the logical conclusion is, well, how do I kill off the Toxotes as the China player? And you go, well, we can make Javelineers, or we can make ourselves White Horse Cavalry. So it's spicy, it's fun, it's good, it's a time, and it's going to be a thing. We'll see how it's going to go. Now, obviously, if you go for Halberdier, White Horse Cavalry, then obviously the infantry become on the table, but as we've already touched on, the fire archers are also really good. So if someone scouts you building infantry against that sort of a composition, they can just start building fire archers and they're also okay. So after all is said and done, it's going to be fire archer, Halberdier, White Horse Cavalry versus Toxotes, Hippias, Hoplite, or Prodromus, the Pass Pissed? I don't know, but we're going to be seeing a cavalry. Stable's coming up already. And a little bit of a movement out into the middle of the map as we do have the Yatsu. Spotting that little thing. A little bit of a high five as both players wandering by each other. And into the main base. Matador goes. No? Ulysses goes. Well, he's trying to sneak in here a little bit. Go around the side, poke in, get some damage. Over here, we've got the Yatsu from Matador getting chased down. He's got to be quick. 5.6 speed. The fastest Greek lady in all of the lands. She is trying to catch up. Whoop, whoop. Once you get caught up to, it's all over for the old Yatsu. You can do a teleport. Oh. He's gone. He's out of here. Now, one thing you can do with the... we've talked about this before, but snare with a Hippias, attack with the Atlanta. It's good. You can catch up to anything, kill anything like that. As the Halberdiers Now out, Pioneer's also out to try and deal with the old Centaur. There is also a cheeky little... Oh, he's got the monkeys! The relic monkeys are in. Absolutely wild. It's an archery range to come down and onwards and upwards for Ulysses the Great here. He has managed to effectively limit Matador to the map. This is sort of what you want as the Poseidon player, because from here you can go, all right, time for a town center. Once the Fushi player is sort of limited to their map and you can kind of exert pressure out onto there, preventing the Pioneers from getting around and getting all that juicy scouting in. Oop, 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 oop. Dead Yatsu. Yeah, then you can just grab town center and you're in a good spot. But for now, Ulysses is just saying, all right, time for some Toxotes. What about classical fight with Cyclops Toxotes versus Fushi? Well, I don't know. I think I would probably just go for Pioneers against that, to be honest. A whole bunch of them with... Yeah, just make a whole bunch of Pioneers. And then go Heroic Age and make White Horse Cavalry. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know how much I think that works. Some matchups, those Cyclops are incredible. Other matchups, not so much. Now we are seeing Matador's wall getting knocked on. As the army for Matador comes through and says, I would like to have a little discussion with you about manners and all things goodness here. Is you can't just knock on a person's... Well, you can. You can knock on a person's door uninvited, but not when we're at war with each other. I don't want to have tea with you. He says, get out of here. As the Halberdiers pushing forward, taking down those relic monkeys. Got to be so careful with these fights. You need a hefty amount of Toxotes to deal with those Halberdiers, and Ulysses just doesn't have it just yet. There's some walls coming up on the front here. And Fushi now grants you prosperity through Yin. So the powerful stage here for Matador is over. He's not going to really want to... Well, I don't know. I would say he doesn't really want to fight now, right? He wants to wait and just boom it up. And get some walls up. Snipes down the Katoskopos. He's got a lot of gold in the bank. Wood coming through as well. Matador on the march forward here. While in the middle of Yin, he's going to have 10% extra economy for this 4 minutes, but without that 10% bonus damage, you're really missing out on a lot there. Unless you've got a really good army to fight. These Pioneers as well don't have that 1 divine damage either, so not the best unit to be using for the moment. Oh. Almost sniping a Pioneer as he gets back at that. Is a kind of expensive technology though, right? I think he's got the gold for it. He does. He's got the research. Oh, and he's getting a Deuterino instead of Qualfu. There's the walls up to the top side of the map here. Trying to lock everything off. Hippias on the way forward. Trying to bash down the gate as those Pioneers wander in. Ulysses is just trying to kind of put pressure on for the moment. I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be able to do a whole lot here. I mean, if you can get some villager kills or anything, we've got to be so careful with the halberdiers as well. And there's just so many places that Matador can go hide. Is he eating his peach blossom spring? Not just yet. Villager's getting a little bit angry trying to get into the action there. There's a couple of halberdiers going down. Nice snipe onto the centaur there from those pioneers. It's a lot of pioneers there. They're not that useful. Oop, nice little attack over onto the Hippias. One Hippias down. So his Toxoid is getting some good damage done. Good retreat back there. Dodging those arrows on the retreat there. Before ballistics comes in, one of the nice ways you can micro in a fight is if the Toxoids are focusing a unit, you can just run it backwards. Or to the side as well is good. Like these halberdiers here can just pull backwards and they're completely fine to dodge a whole bunch of arrows here. But lightning weapons gets dropped down and there's just not really enough units here for Matador. Those pioneers don't do anything with lightning weapons. I am pretty sure. Yeah, they don't do anything. The Javelineers get a big boost, but that's about it. As Ulysses now getting a good amount of damage done onto the front there. It's Najar coming back in to assist. And I'm sure that Matador just wants to get Heroic Age here. Ulysses probably as well, but he's going for a Town Center first. And this does get spotted by Matador. As Matador opts for the Heroic Age first, he could drop a Town Center as well. He's got a nice one up here, just to make sure he doesn't like fall behind on the economy. Alternatively, he can just go for... You can just go for an all-in here. Especially with like a whole bunch of White Horse Cavalry. You can really win a fight pretty easily. Pioneer do not benefit from lightning weapons. They do not. Look at it. It says human soldier and ship. I think even on the default tooltip, not even with my bonus things, it also says human soldier and ship. I don't even think they don't even get bonus damage from it. There's a wall getting beaten down over here. A couple of Quail Fitter come over to start holding on. A cheap little ballet wouldn't go astray here. He's got the resources for it. A little bit lackluster for the time being. It's one wall coming up. These Hippias trying to break through. We've got the army coming over onto this side to defend for the time being. A ballet going up and forest protection here is going to be really strong. He does manage to get his own town center up over here, so not falling too far behind on the economy for the time being. Look at all these walls. So many walls. So much walling. Shut it up. To repair that wall back up as well, because we can't have that one on fire. They wouldn't. They're going to burn down. It's Dionysus. Almost in. And Ulysses to wander forward here for the time being. But Matador still just turtling, waiting, dreaming. He does have himself that Peach Blossom Spring now. Grabbing all that food with 9 villagers on top of it. Delaying his farming for just a little bit here. As the Tao Wu comes through to try and woo those Hippias, but they escape. They get 10-pin bowled and they say, nah, I don't want to participate in that silly recreational game. And it will be White Horse Cavalry after all is said and done. Trying to get up to full population. White Horse Cap with the assistance of another lightning weapons, full population here. I'm pretty sure this army beats a bronze. This bronze does get dropped in. I'm pretty sure Matador doesn't have to fight here. This isn't the fight that he's looking for. Retreating back for the time. He does have a whole lot of these Wuzu Javelineers, which are kind of a waste of population here. As we see the forest protection get dropped down, I still don't think that Matador should be taking this fight in the slightest here. He can just pull back, mass out these bad boys. He does have himself the upgrade on that one ballet, but it's going to take him a long time to get all those White Horse cavalry out. But once he does, he can drop that lightning weapons and easily win a fight. But he's just not able to get up to this. And Ulysses is just saying, I don't care about your forest protection. For the time being, this is a huge amount of damage that those Toxotes are taking here. But he does get a Petropolis out. He can retreat back out from this this position. Is that how it works? I was trying to work out what was going on with the forest protection. Apparently, if you task them to retreat back and then they get snared, they just stop there and forget the command. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that's a bug. Could be wrong. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's a bug. But for now, make sure you spam click outside of the forest protection. So after all is said and done, town center down. Peltas to take out those Wuzu Javelineer nicely. Now, this is some Dow Swordsman actually for Matador. It's probably not part of his plan, but he has managed to hold for the time being. Like, he lost the town center. He gets those White Horse cavalry out. There's no answer for them just yet. Prodromus are a good unit here for Ulysses to be thinking about making. There's the Pioneers coming through, trying to snipe down those Peltas. Doing a good job of it. So hard to micro those Javelineers, though. They've got such a weird animation. Unlike pretty much every other unit, they, yeah, unlike every other unit, their actual attack, or where they actually release the projectile, starts like significantly later than everything else. So it's really, really hard to micro. The villagers looking like they will be able to get that town center back up. No, they won't, because Matador taps out and Ulysses claims the dub. A well-played game by Ulysses. He really restricted Matador. I think Matador's big mistake here was building Javelineers. I don't think he needed to. He just needed to go straight into those White Horse cavalry, be patient, get himself the full pop, lightning weapons, break out, grab himself the third town center, grab this entire bottom corner, and it would have been in a good spot. He would have been in a good spot. Alas, was not to be for him in this game. It is a best of 5, so we've got more games to come. We're moving to game number 4 shortly. Hope you're having a fantastic time hanging out with me, and we'll see you in the next game. Game 4. The score is all wrong. Let's fix that. In the right-hand corner, we've got Matador, and he's playing as Ra, and we've got ourselves in the left-hand corner, Ulysses playing as Thor. Oh, it's also very quick. Let me go ahead and fix that. So, onto the map, Ghost Lake. A fantastic map full of goats and lakes. And really, really interesting decisions here. I'm not sure I understand this one in the slightest. So, there's a couple of things to be worried about here when playing as Thor against Ra. Number 1. Wadjet classical fight. Very, very scary. Don't want to be a part of it. Please stay away from me. Wadjet classical fight. Yuck. So, one way to play around it is to grab that gold mine first. So that's why I'm a bit confused here from Ulysses. He could basically be finished this gold mine by the time Matador can even start to put pressure on. And then, if the pressure comes, you can just say, all right, we got even more time. We can just pull back here and we're all good. Apparently, Wadgets lose to Goaty or something. I don't know. Anyways, off to the races now to get these boars. I think Thor's a great pick for this map. Really, really strong. Just in general, but so too is Ra. Ra's good on any map. It just is. Especially a 2 medium gold mine Dose Lake. And this is also a hefty amount of large gold mines as well. If we take a quick look at the map. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And there's also Black Lotus. Ooh, that's really nice there for Matador. Is he going to notice this? No. There's also like, okay, I ran this strat on like, not basically on launch, right? Not on launch, maybe a month after launch when players were starting to use the Thor Dwarven Armory build. I used this build for a while with a lot of success. I actually don't think I lost. I don't know why I stopped using it. Maybe I'll bring it out in a tournament game. Lol. But the fact of the matter is, the Thor players advance so late that the Ra player, the Isis player, or the Set player can just say, I'm just going to grab 3 town centers straight away. Go for like a 4:30 advance time. Thor player goes for their 4:30 or 4:45 advance time. You go for 3 town centers. You've got shifting sands to run away if he wants to all in you. And then you're all good to go. Absolutely wild. Anyways, long story short, Temple about to come up now for Ulysses. He is going for a very, very slow advance time. We'll take a quick look over here. He's already got himself copper weapons, no, copper shields, copper mail, and no longer, not yet copper weapons, but getting himself Hammer of Thunder. It's just a super late advance time from Ulysses here. Yeah, what I'm saying is, if your opponent's going to greed, just greed harder. And if you know your opponent's going to greed, yeah, you've got... It's really nice. Alright, here's something weird that was sort of introduced with the recent Ra nerfs. Ra was kind of overperforming a lot, especially at the top levels, but also doing quite well at like mid levels and lower levels as well. The monuments don't get empowered anymore when you're empowering the monument to the villagers. Like this one doesn't get empowered. But it also doesn't get empowered while it's building. So you don't get that reduced build time on the monument to the soldiers there. Interesting. Something to think about. Anyways, it's going to be Bast. Bast action here for Matador. We haven't seen this in a hot second. This is really, really difficult to make work. Oh, Ulysses realizes he better get onto that forward gold mine here. Yeah, this sort of an idea is a little bit difficult to make work against Thor. If the Thor player reads what's going on, they can basically just pump Ursa, go heroic age, and it's very, very tricky to make anything happen with those with what's happening here with the Spearman Sphinx idea. We will see a great haul coming down as a Sphinx coming through to say, "Hello there, good sir. I would like to fight." But not a problem. Not a problem for Ulysses. He probably could just drop the healing spring down as well and all those dwarves back up to full HP. Not a problem there either. He does pick up Arrows of Heracles. Going to be boosting the ranged soldiers and heroes damage of ranged attacks by 5%. Not bad if he's planning to go for... I can't get Goaty because he didn't go for Freya, but maybe later. Nope, nice little micro here from Matador. Trying to deny this Hersa to get back to the main base. And he does lose it there, unfortunately. Great control from Matador. Big snipe early on. As the healing spring does get dropped down on this position. Going to heal all those villagers back up to full HP. Oh, lovely. The dwarves going to finish up on the chickens on the front. Finish up with the boars over here as well. He's got goats to jump onto. He can pump out a whole bunch of trolls here as well, if need be, with like effectively here just mass Hersa troll to deal with the Sphinx and Spearman spammage. Makes a lot of sense to me. Question in the chat, why no Axeman? Well, if we take a quick little comparison on how these units are looking, 142 effective HP, 162. So pretty close. That's 20 difference. And you've got 7.7. We'll go with 7. Over here we've got 9. Actually, let's go 7.7. So that's also pretty close. So effectively, Spearman beat Hersa by resource cost and by population. At the moment. They used to not. Now they do. But Hersa do have that nice 6x versus Sphinx, so they're able to take those out nicely. But it's looking like Matador is saying, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to go to the next stage. If you're just going to be hanging out in your main base, I don't want to deal with that. Let me go to the next stage. But nonetheless, ooh, it's going to be a segment upgrade here. Maybe for Chariot Archers? Makes some sense to go Spearman Chariot Archer here. We'll see how that's going to work. There's the Sphinx to return back home. Spearman doing Spearman things, just scouting everything out. They do notice the raiding cavalry a little bit there, but not going to have to do all too much. As the Spearman can't get in through past those walls here. Man, Ulysses playing incredibly defensively here. And he is actually deciding that Bragi is going to be his god of choice. Now, I like Bragi in general versus Egyptian most of the time because you get access to the super herdman. But I actually think that this specific case is probably better to go through Skadi here. Skadi makes a lot of sense. There's a Migdol stronghold coming up over onto this side. We've got that Citadel Center into the main base here. And Bone Bow immediately from Matador. So he is planning on making Chariot Archers here. Whoop, whoop. We got a rave. Oh, never mind. It was a fake. But Ulysses has done a great job of just kind of avoiding all problems in the early game. But you still got to be careful here, because this is like, just because you avoid all the problems in the early game as the Norse does not mean that you're out of the woods just yet. There's still a lot of problems lurking here. Like Horus is going to be trouble. You know, a really well positioned Son of Osiris is going to be trouble. Does decide to turn around for a little bit while they're throwing Axeman. Wait in the back line there. Slaps one raiding cavalry and gets out of there. Yeah, I love this from Matador. I always say this. I'm like, why build Slinger when you can just build Chariot Archer? Like 21 range against a 12 range throwing Axeman? Yes. Please. Let me just snipe those off. Anyone else think Quailfu's having some issues this patch? Yeah. You really have to look after your Quailfus. I literally shift click them now onto the tree that I want them to go to. All right, town center up. Ulysses now moving over here to grab the hill fort as the chariot archers come forward to try and snipe some units. Still no ballistics in, but it is researching. So we'll be able to snipe something here, but it's a little bit trickier without ballistics. As you can see, the arrow is sort of missing ever so slightly. Doesn't manage to snipe a thrown axe in here, though. And with the hill fort, this is interesting because you could potentially go into a whole bunch of Huskal at the moment, especially when you go through Force City. You get the Hall of Thanes technology, boosts all your infantry speed by 5%, and then all of a sudden you've got yourself a 5.3 speed Huskal, which is very, very quick and can dispose of those chariot archers nicely. Not understanding the bar speak over tar. Well, you got Eclipse for one, but mostly take a look at these upgrades. All of a sudden, the Ra economy is 20% better. You've made up for the weakness of the Egyptian economy. So, yeah, that's basically one of the big reasons. As Eclipse gets dropped down, but Ulysses just says, hang on, what are you doing? This is not a problem. I do not mind. He does decide to click the flaming weapons here, and Matador is just going to be absolutely abusing these chariot archers to say, hey, you thought, you didn't think. Get out of here. Great snipes from Matador. He's also got the spearmen back here going into the main base with these speedy Sphinx, the camel riders, onto a dwarven gold mine into the main base as well. Good control here from Ulysses to just retreat back. Almost sniped the Sphinx. Good control yet again as the Hersa are back in here to try and deal with all those camel riders, but they are a big problem right now for Ulysses. He does manage to survive for the moment. Still pumping out Huskal here as well. He's got himself 3 thrown action. He needs a lot more throw. He probably could actually go into Berserks here rather than the thrown axemen, rather than the raiding cavalry. Berserk, Huskal at this point actually makes a lot of sense. Ulysses try and take a fight here. That the army is just so strong for Matador at the moment. And Ulysses actually building battle boards. A little bit dangerous. Not going to have the 50 favor for another Dwarven Mine for quite some time here. There's the Huskal coming in onto the left side. The Hersa onto the right side. The battle ball. They do have that special ability. No heavy infantry in, however, for Ulysses. So his Huskal not the best. And Matador continuing to shoot and scoot these chariots away. Doing ridiculous amounts of damage here. Like, literally, yeah, he literally just doesn't even care. He could be making axemen and just absolutely dominating this, but he says, I don't need them. I got chariot archers. Look at my chariot archers go. Oh, man. And Ulysses, he just can't do anything. This is the tough part. It's always kind of the tough part for Thor. I think you don't really need to fight the army, or you shouldn't fight the army. You should just be trying to expand your your base around the map and stuff like that, and then trying to just catch the enemy army out of position or something, it's really, really tough to play. Wow. Ulysses just goes, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I feel like he just rage quit here. I mean, sure, he's very far behind. Let's not get that twisted. He is very far behind. But that was very un-Ulysses-esque. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. A well-played game by Matador, though. Pretty clinical. Ulysses managed to get through it all to some degree. But obviously wasting flaming weapons wasn't ideal. He didn't need a fight. I think you just want to play very, very slowly with Norse mostly against Ra if you can, and just claim as much of the map as you possibly can. I don't know. Anyways, well played there from Matador. GG. We'll move into game number 5. We have a game 5. Wow, we have a game 5. Yay! One more game to come here. In the bottom left of the map, Matador as Isis. His opponent in the red color, playing as Gaia, it's Ulysses. And we've come full circle, ladies and gentlemen. A very valiantly fought series thus far. One more decides who takes it and who goes home. Very upset with their performance. Doesn't matter what happened in the middle of the series. Doesn't matter what happened at the start of the series. Doesn't matter what happened last game. This is the game that matters. Now, it is a round robin, so, I mean, if you lose this one, it's not the end of the world. But this is where the brain needs to be at. Ulysses on Gaia. Matador on Isis. Now, I've always been of the opinion, so to speak, that Gaia is pretty good into Isis. I don't know exactly why I think that, but that's just what I think. Gaia's got access to Leto, which is really, really good. She's also got access to Oceanus, which is fantastic versus Isis, versus Migdol units. Migdol units are a little bit weak against Atlantean due to the Catapultes being very, very good. Terma also being very, very good against Chariot Archers as well. So there's especially Hero Terma, by the way. Let's not go there. Anyways, we will see how things end up shaping up here for these two players, because whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. And that's just the way it's going to be. There's never a draw. Could there be a draw? I don't think so. Anyways, over here we've got ourselves Pygmalion statue. Always very, very nice. On the top side of the map, we've got Scales of Cthulhu Plus. Also very, very nice. Over here we've got Ankh of Ra with the extra favor coming in. Also very, very nice. Some very nice relics here. Skulls of Cercipes. Getting you some monkeys. But these relics are looking awfully unfair at the moment. Look at these. They're really close. Maybe they're not. If you draw a straight line to these relics, maybe they're close. I don't know. Well, let the shanking begin. I wonder if he's... I don't think he is animation cancelling this.
You need to.
Anyways. The Oracle is getting... Yeah, he's getting a haircut. That's true. Come back here. Poor guy. All he was doing was just trying to scout the land, and he just gets an angry villager to shank him down. But that being said, the Oracle, in his death, arguably has paid for himself, because he's brought the villager all the way over here. In fact, if it's 3:30 when that thing died, let's just do a quick timer here and figure out how much he lost. This villager lost, basically. That's 10 seconds, so that's about 10 resources. That's 20 seconds, so about 20 resources. That's 30 resources. Then we add an extra 30 resources to get out here, right? So we're at 60. And then plus we were shanking down. So there's probably an extra 10 to 20 resources there. So after all is said and done, it's probably about 90 to 100. So it's about an equal trade. It's about an equal trade. There you go. The more you know. Good to work it out. Anyways, Classical Age is coming through. We've got Anubis actually for Matador. Probably with the intention of making some Spearmen, because I've heard Spearmen are really good. There's this this very, very funny idea in certain Twitch chats where it says, try going Spearman, tech switch into more Spearman, he'll never expect it, and then finally make sure that the final finishing blow is more Spearman. That's the current joke. We'll see if it works. Town Center coming up on the front here for Ulysses. Pretty bold to be putting this one up here. He does have 2 hero citizen and a regular citizen. Monkey's asking, how do you feel about double village center as eyes? It's perfect. Fantastic. Do it. It's not a bad idea, to be honest. It was a little bit better when the... It depends on how many berries and chickens you have, I guess. That's about all. Ulysses with a forward town center here. Gonna be able to jump over here onto these things. Do we see this getting spotted? Is this spotted? No. He misses it. He's got all the obelisks in the world, but he doesn't know this town center's been grabbed. Doesn't matter. He's going for his own one back here. Very, very defensive. Very, very safe. And double barracks down now for Matador. Is he going for a heroic age? It kind of looks like it, but just with the barracks up a little bit earlier. Yeah, Matador with a pretty nice back gold mine. This one does only have 3,000 gold, so it's really not that much. So you got to be careful. Get over here and secure this gold mine and this one over here. Wall this up. All the good stuff. As the Anubites searching. Hero citizens converting. Manners mannering. And Anubites Anubiting away. And a third town center actually for Ulysses. There you go. Very, very economically focused here. Has he got any upgrades? Yes, he does. Just missing the ones in the classical age or the second tier ones. You get those a little bit earlier as Gaia, obviously. But just wanting the big boom. Now, for the moment here, Matador's not going to know this. He's hiding out on the backside. Looks like he's going to be searching for the town center. Potentially. I mean, he might just be checking to make sure the gold mine's not there. But I do like this idea here from Ulysses. It definitely sets him up nicely. But Matador will scout it out pretty quickly. As some spearmen coming over here to cause some problems. Realistically here, Ulysses just needs to get to the... Oh, nice little spot. Oh, does he get the villager? No. Survives. There's a carnivora. Gets dropped down. Oh, little bit. Oh, there he goes. One spearman dead. But a nice little defense here onto this position for the time being. Got to be careful with that Terma though. Nice little retreat back. This guy eats stuff pretty quickly. We see a sentry tower actually coming down as well. What's that recharge time? That's actually really quick. I didn't even realize. 5 seconds. That's wild. Make sure you're microing that bad boy in a fight to make sure he's not attacking like a hero or something stupid. There's some Caraballs that have come through. I'm surprised we're not seeing Ulysses just say, hey, I'm just going to go Mythic Age here. Don't really need anything else. Farms, get set up, economic upgrades. Like, what are you realistically going to be doing with a handful of spearmen here running around against a Gaia? Just put farms down, sit in your main base, and you're all good to go. He does charge over here, trying to take these villagers out underneath this town center. Potentially another Gaia Forest here wouldn't go astray, just so that you've got less problems. But you will note that in sitting on top of this Gaia Lush, all these citizens are going to be going back up to full HP slowly. Because now we do see the farm starting to come down. Oop. Trying to charge in, trying to get more damage done, but one hero Carabalista might actually be enough here. Especially if there's a Caladria around. That's a lot of damage. Getting close to full. Oh, how did you get blocked? Great little play there from Matador, getting some good damage done onto Ulysses. Meanwhile, over on this side, we've got Plague of Serpents going down. One citizen down over here. I think this is a lot of this is just Ulysses kind of disrespecting in a way, like no farms, well some farms, but just trying to grab all these resources and not really make any units. I said that was totally fine to do that, but he's kind of making some units and he's kind of making farms. Because now we got Sobek on the way, Serpent Spear, more spears. Ulysses also hasn't opted into these upgrades either, so he's missing out on his one of his unique god bonuses. It's really important to get those in. Another citizen going down. Does he have survival equipment? Nope. Man, there's so many small, tiny small mistakes here from Ulysses that Matador is just punishing. He's just punishing it. Really, really nicely. Oop. Got a new bite. Coming in, does end up getting sniped by this hero Carabalista. Another cheeky little Carabalista making his way back home. Spearman in hot pursuit. Does get that speed boost by getting on top of the Gaia Lush here. Could he heal it? Oh, no. Does manage to take down a couple of Spearmen though for it. But now, Matador fully set up in the center of the map, dropping Monument to the Priest as well to block this entire position in from God Powers. And it's going to be Spearman, Chariot Archer all the way, it looks like. As they are coming through. I actually think Rhea is probably a better option here if you're playing as Gaia against this brand of Isis. You get access to super infantry. This can be very, very good. I mean, even after all is said and done, like, Ulysses is still in front on villagers. Carabalista not the best against Chariot Archers. The Chariot Archers will win this one as well. Yeah, I think instead of the Carabalista, he probably could have just... You're actually right. Probably could have just made Caladria. Just made 3 Caladria. Or even 4. Anyways, Matador continuing to apply pressure here. As the heroic cage is now in. And the Spearman swinging around onto this side. Citizens pulling back. Carabalista over here to say, hello there, Mr. Spearman. I would love to kill you. You still have to micro these. As soon as the Spearmen start wandering forward, you have to kind of run back, shoot and scoot. You do have 2 seconds of movement time after the arrow leaves the crossbow, or whatever you want to call it. Siege Towers to break through onto the front. Going to take down the Watchtower here. And Matador applying all the pressure he possibly can. It's already up to 200 population. Ulysses is just taking so much damage for no real good reason here. And he's trying to build up an army to take out these units. Look at the Pitsugos as well. He needs like all of his units heroized. And all of his units heroized and everyone just going strong here. We do have a pretty brutal Locust going over everything, taking citizens down and everything. Got the Carnivore to get dropped down. Well, the Spearman sitting back here for some reason from Matador, kind of giving Ulysses a bit of an angle to actually take a fight here. He is managing to kill off some units. It's the Spearman now joining in. Now, unfortunately for Ulysses, no upgrades on his archers, so they're just not doing that much damage. I don't even think they've got ballistics here. No, they do not. Ulysses is holding so far, but Matador is just going to be finding himself getting further and further in front here. A couple of Hero Carabalis are going to go a really long way in this fight moving forward. If he can get those onto those Bitsukos to some degree, maybe get some Hero Arcus on the back, Stimfalion Bird to take out the Pitzabek or something like that. Ulysses pulls back into his main base. He's still in so much trouble here. Matador just playing out of his mind in this final game, it looks like. Now Matador to take even more of the map. Walls coming up. Another Migdol stronghold is already trying to get this set up over here as well. Ulysses is going to be running out of gold at some point relatively soon. He's only got 2 large gold mines remaining here. So it's not for that long. He's got to move out on the map and get something else happening. Still no upgrades for the... Well, he's got medium archers, but still not fully upgraded here. So in a little bit of a difficult position to take all those. That's so many. These things are just doing an absolute reckless amount of damage. Look at these guys go. Stimfalion Bird lives with 1 HP after the big laser boys. Like, normally I don't think this like would be a problem for Gaia, normally. But because Ulysses took so much damage, he just hasn't been able to heroize or have resources to heroize everything now. He probably just needs to go fully heroized. But we're going to be seeing Matador now going Mythic Age. He's got Osiris on the way. Which means Son of Osiris. He's got the ballistics to come through. Bronze shields. There's the Camel Rider. Oh, 1 Catapulty and a Dream here. It's not going to be enough. So Contaris, who managed to come forward those, but Subak is still just in a ridiculously good position. And Ulysses doesn't have any hero units. He's got 2 hero Contaris. It's not going to be enough. Does he still not have ballistics? Am I missing something? No, he had it. But as that Son of Osiris comes in, Matador just waiting it out. He's going to have I mean, he's already got all those Petzeberg. Those are scary enough. And then you add a monument to the pharaohs, and you add everything else in here. So there's the son of Osiris to come through, sitting right on top of that monument to the pharaohs. And Ulysses has to just retreat back. He does have his town center back up. Economic upgrades are just about to finish up, so tiniest of advantages for the time being here. But that army from Matador is just terrifying. Got 145 population right now. Some siege towers to come over, taking down both those citizens as well. Upgrades all coming through. We've got the desert winds here. This ISIS is just in its own element right now in a ridiculously good position. Oops, Son of Osiris is under fire here, not paying attention. This is the sort of damage that he needs to do, but he's just losing so many units to try and get through it. He's now catapult to roll through and saying, all right, good night, town center. Watchtowers coming up as well, just to add insult to injury. Matador's got 2,100 gold in the bank, and the series is decided after all is said and done, as Matador takes it with just a really well-executed game. Ulysses just not even attempting to defend against what Matador was throwing at him. A handful of spears and a Nubite. I think the simple thing here for Ulysses, I love the 3 town center play, was just get some Collider out. Heal up the citizens. Like, you're not going to lose any if you just heal them up. Maybe even just get survival equipment as well and call it a day. And he probably would have been in a really good spot to punish Matador for this strat, but he just didn't quite figure it out. Fell way too far behind. You take a look at this villagers killed thing. You got 13. I think that means that's 26 villages, right? Could be wrong on that. No, it has to be. It has to be. So 26. And look at all the idle villages all over the place for both players, but it is what it is. Civilian units, schmack, and big all resource total. You see that Matador just in front for the entirety of the game. Anyways, GG. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider following on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.